Hello everyone, Chelle here, and welcome to my long-belated playthrough of Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. Now, just as a forward, this Let's Play is entirely pre-recorded. I filmed it at the beginning of this year in January of 2019, while Wander was out of town looking for a new home. But in any case, let's have past Chelle give you her thoughts going into the game. This was a game that was largely recommended by our fans, specifically because of the tale it told and the atmosphere. I've never played anything akin to this, slow heavy combat where you have to fight immense beasts and you're dodging and parrying and every hit could mean your inevitable demise. This game also, it's rated M. From what I know, there's going to be corpses everywhere, various blood and viscera and such. It's the tale of this woman who is trying to wade into Helheim to retrieve the soul of her loved one and bring him back to life. So she's going to be braving essentially hell itself in order to do so, and has to attempt to not lose herself in the process, especially when there are potentially hundreds of spirits trying to wear away at her will and perhaps have her join them. All right. Well, here we go. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice.
Hello. Who are you? Doesn't matter. Welcome. You're safe with me. I'll be right here, nice and close so I can speak without alerting the others. Let me tell you about Senua. Her story has already come to an end, but now it begins anew.
What's happening? It's breathing. Dead. It's breathing. It's breathing. He knows. He knows she's getting closer. He can feel her coming closer. She's getting closer. They're watching the head. They're watching. They're watching.
This is a journey deep into darkness. There will be no more stories after this one.
What is she doing? Why is she doing this?
They're watching.
Why doesn't she turn
coming.
back? She's doing this for him. She wants to rescue him. He's already dead.
I feel you coming.
Quiet.
Oh, how rude of me. I never told you of the others. You hear them too, right? They've been around ever since the tragedy. Well, that's not quite true. Some are old, some are new, but they've changed. I think the darkness changed them, just like it changed her.
Can you see them? Over there. Why isn't she looking? Why aren't you looking?
He's in Helheim.
Look, up ahead.
In Helheim.
You see it too?
You promised you gave you.
Yes. It is real after all. She's finally arrived in the land of Myst and fog. The place the Northmen call Hell.
Turn back. Go back. Go back.
It's not safe.
Go back. Go back. Go back. Go
It's
back.
not safe.
It's there. They're here.
Can you see them? I can see you.
Look around and you will see them. The drowned, the sick, the slain. Here they lie, rotting in the fields and rivers of hell. But the dead don't always lie still here.
You see them?
This is not a place of rest.
You can't do this. Go back. Go back. They're going to do that to you.
Can you see them? Can you see them? They're going to do that to you. watching her. They're watching her.
You're so close to the darkness. Go back.
Can you feel it?
What is she thinking? I can tell you. She's afraid. Wouldn't you be? You'd think she would get used to it by now after so many years. But the darkness, it just builds onto itself, growing stronger, towering over her. You might try and ignore it, turn away. But it's always there, just out of sight, where you're most vulnerable. It's like it knows that just enough light is all you need to see its suffocating power.
They can feel you.
You might think she's brave to go on this journey on her own, but it isn't bravery that drives her. Bravery only means something to those afraid of death. Senua's fear runs far, far deeper.
She can't hear.
What is she looking at?
Don't go ashore.
What is she leaving behind?
What are you doing?
I know what she's thinking.
Go back. Go back.
I hear her thoughts. It's not too late to get into the boat and go back.
That's right, go back.
No one will judge her. No one will ever know.
I know you want to. No.
Oh, she heard us.
She's not going back. She's not.
There's no going back.
You think you can do it? You can't do it.
Senua pushes away a world that conspired to cause so much suffering. There's nothing to go back to, and worse to look forward to. Why don't you join us? Maybe you too have a part to play in this story.
Well then, that was, I want to say, amazing. Not the first descriptor I would have for, well, treading water through a land littered in corpses and haunted by what seems to be either multiple versions of her own voice, vocalizing her fears, or that of perhaps other spirits that dwell here. And I also really liked how at the end of that they were saying, why don't you may have a part to play, perhaps addressing us. Are we yet another voice, another presence watching her journey? So she's reached Helheim. And you know how they were discussing the head in the boat? You see this circular bag that she has at her hip. Looks an awful lot like a skull, doesn't it? Well, as I said, only forward.
You have to take a closer look to see.
Why isn't she focusing?
She needs to focus now.
She needs to use her eyes.
It's her eyes.
Do not forget my stories, Senua. Because your darkness comes from hell, and your fate lies there. They say the burning of a corpse will take you straight to Hela's gate, but gods and the living will follow this path. You must leave the Isles of Orkney across the eastern sea and find a road that leads north and down through deep, dark valleys. After 9 nights of riding, you will follow a great river and will find a bridge covered in gold. The path to Helheim goes from there, across the River of Knives that flows from the dark world of Niflheim.
River of Knives. Well, we haven't seen a bridge gilded in gold yet, but we have made it down the river. Seems like a swamp. Long forgotten. Now it's said that there are runes, more of those stones hidden everywhere. I'll definitely be on the lookout for them. Okay, it looks like she automatically reacts with things in her environment. Is that a cart? It is. Why did night fall so suddenly?
Go back. Go back. They're coming. You can't do this. Go back. Go back. They're coming now. They're coming. They're coming. She needs to run.
She needs to run.
The darkness is coming. It yearns for life, hungers for it, like a pack of wolves on a hunt. But she's not stopping.
There's the run button.
Not this time.
Can you see it?
The land of mist and fog.
He's in there.
The old fool was right.
He's in there. You see it?
What was it he said? The river of knives across which lies the halls of hell. The place they call Helheim.
He's lost. He's lost.
I hear you.
He's there. You know it.
There's no doubt about
He's
it.
lost.
The source of the darkness is in Helheim,
You'll never find him. They're
and the goddess Hela holds his soul there. Her dear beloved, Dillian.
Was there a torch there before? Can't say. I was fleeing so swiftly.
What is she doing? Why is she doing this? Why doesn't she turn back? She's doing this for him. She wants to rescue him.
He's already dead.
He's dead.
But his soul is in Helheim.
His soul still lives. She needs to save his soul.
She wants his soul to be at peace.
She needs to lay him to rest. He's dead. He's already dead.
She can save him.
There's nothing she can do. She thinks she's going to save him. She's not going to save him.
She'll never make it to Helheim.
She can't let him rot here. She needs to try. Do
The bridge to Helheim. I forget its name. She forgets too. But she does remember that only the dead may cross it. That part wasn't so easy to forget. The old fool said there was a hidden path up to it. Let's see, shall we?
What are those agonized screams? And if only the dead can cross it. Yeah, the hidden path that they're referring to. Suppose we'll have to find it. My question is, even if Senua were to reach Ella, would she even forfeit Dillion's soul? Would he become corporeal again? Would he even have a body to go back to? Another stone.
The Northmen speak of 9 worlds. The world of men they call Midgard. Sky gods dwell in Asgard. The gods of earth, harvest, wind, and sea dwell in Vanaheim. The good elves dwell in Alfheim. The evil ones dwell in Svartalfheim. The mountain giants dwell in Jotunheim. The fire giants dwell in Muspelheim. Niflheim is the world of ice and darkness. Only the dead dwell in Helheim, and that is where you must travel.
Huh. Listed off all the Heims. I've always read a lot of Greek mythology. I am part Greek myself. I never actually dabbled much into Norse mythology. I suppose I should, because it is very intriguing and I've seen it used in so many games and media. In a way, this story almost reminds me of...
Climb. Get up there. She needs to climb up there. Get up there. She has to climb. Senua, what's up there? Why isn't she getting up there? Climb. Climb up there.
Yes, to climb, they say. But I will. But the story reminds me of Orpheus and how he had to fetch his wife Eurydice.
That's the way.
And how the gods themselves had been so moved by his music and his desire to go into the underworld and plead for her spirit. And they humored him, but
Quickly go.
only if he didn't look back at her as they left the caverns.
Go. Fall.
Keep going, whatever you do, don't stop.
You can't do it.
But he couldn't stop himself from looking back at the end and lost her forever.
So brave.
You're not safe. Stop! Get down.
What's she waiting for?
Down.
They're
Why
mocking
did she
her.
do that? She shouldn't have done it. She can't go back now. No, this is it. The hidden path.
Another rune. But it seems to be inscribed on this immense door.
It's not good. It will hurt.
It's going to hurt you.
It's dangerous.
Don't kill me. I'm not one of them.
Be afraid.
Don't listen. I was just hiding. I find I live longer that way. Don't listen.
Where is it?
The bastards catch me again. Never!
Darkness.
Wait,
Calming the darkness is
who are you?
It's just a memory.
Drew? Is that you around you now?
Recognizes him.
From my tales of the Northmen, they call me Druth. Liar.
He's
An
lost.
old fool.
He's not real.
Druth
see you again. You kept your vow.
To guide you in this life and the next. I will tell you my stories of hell, if I may walk with you.
Tell me your stories again, old friend. I'm listening.
The runes seal the gates to hell. Focus your inner eye, and you too will see what's hidden in plain sight.
Use your eyes. Use your eyes. Come on,
I can see one.
Hold it in your mind's eye. Find one like it to open the gate.
Find one like it. In the other runes of the door? Or in the cavern? There are so many, and they all seem to be moving. Unless the central one is the only one that's necessary. Wait, when I move, it seems to shift the light. See? It's not in the reflection. And it doesn't seem to be in the ceiling. You'll never find it. Give up now. It's a secret. It has to be in the door. It has to be that light that's just at the edge of my peripheral vision. Yeah, it's like here. I can just get it to line up. Yeah, because it's all over the place. It's in the environment. Maybe I should look at the walls. I see something that looks like a nautilus. That's interesting. I see stones. Doesn't seem to be on this rock. Or these rocks. Wait, the shadows. It looks like there's a... There. They're all hovering in the air and there with the branches.
It's near. Look towards the gate, and the gate will open.
Look towards the gate and it will open. Well, now it's blue.
The gate is open. Go through the gate.
Go through it.
It's dangerous.
Follow it.
What's behind the gate?
Where will it take you?
It's not safe. It worked!
I spent 6 years enslaved in hell, but I watched the Northmen, learnt their ways.
I know you did.
You listened when everyone else laughed. My people paid a heavy price. Carry my stories with you, and together we will make the Northmen feel our fury.
Wait, so they despise the Northmen. And are they Celts?
Another voice joins us. She once tried to make them go away. Pretend they weren't real. But what good is that? When we are always here.
A voice of reason? But what good is that when we're always here? Ooh. This looks very precarious. The fact that there's all this water flowing on this wood and all of these stretches are so thin. I hope there isn't something where I have to catch myself. A long way down. Yeah, because I actually haven't reviewed the controller controls for this game. I had to learn that, what was it? The left bumper is to run and the right trigger is to focus, and obviously movement and camera are determined by the joysticks. But I haven't acquired a sword yet, so as for combat, I'll have to see later.
I guess it's the same with heights. You can stand on the edge, pretend it's going to be okay. But you know that death is near, waiting for you to make that little slip. You can't just wish things away.
Oh, she does have a sword, actually. It's right at her hip. I never saw it. Am I supposed to... Oh. Oh. Am I actually supposed to walk? Balance for her.
Stupid. Give it a go. Go on.
Oh, no, 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 not too much, not too much.
She's so scared.
Can I progress forward?
She'll make it.
Watch, 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 watch out. Oh, no, no.
She's too weak. She's too tired. She's too weak. She doesn't know what she's doing. She thinks she's brave. She's stupid.
And you're almost there. Just a couple more feet, Senua.
You are going to die here.
There. Ooh. That was intense. Admittedly, I've always loved climbing trees. And there was always that tension, especially going down the tree when you were trying to find footholds on every branch. Because you never knew if you were going to slip or if something would be just beyond your foot's reach.
The world of the dead is ruled by the giantess, Hela, daughter of Loki. The gods feared her bloodline, bad on her mother's side and yet much worse on her father's. So, as a child, the All-Father cast her down into Helheim and gave her power over those who die of sickness, age, hardship, and self-slaughter. In all of the 9 worlds, only Hela can resurrect the dead. To Hela, your Dillion was sacrificed, and with her you must bargain.
That's interesting. I've heard other versions where she wasn't a direct relation of Loki's other than being like an adopted sister or something, or maybe that's just the Marvel universe messing with things. Because actually in that Thor Ragnarok movie that came out recently, they had her depicted as, what, the eldest of Odin's children as opposed to being Loki's progeny? Now, what's down this way? I always like to take the other paths just to see. Well, that's the bridge itself, but unlike other depictions of the path to hell or the underworld, no one is here. Usually you have a multitude of souls in some kind of progression of sorts, or yeah, just making their way across, but I see nothing. Unless the spirits are invisible to our eyes. Though Druce wasn't. Maybe that's because he was willing. Alright, down the ladder we go. Now it begs the question, who constructed this secret path? Others who wanted to cheat death or find a way to resurrect their friends and loved ones? Ooh, felt a little bit of a rumble there. That was a long drop, and I would have perhaps gotten a rope or something else. Yeah, how is she supposed to make the return trip later? There's a light up ahead. It's a clearing of some sort. I'm always wary of clearings. Clearings, more often than not, mean that you're going to be assailed by some kind of creature. Yep. And a lit brazier, too. Means something must dwell here. And actually, that might be the front gate to the bridge itself. Which means there has to be a guardian of some sort. The fight begins. Uh-oh.
Stay back. Look at it. You have to open it.
The gate to Helheim divides the living from the dead. Is that the face of Hela herself? The half-rotten goddess that rules over Helheim. Whatever horrors lie behind that door, she must find him. Shh. Someone's here.
Oh, a stone. A rune stone right there.
You're going to die. You're killing us. You're going to die. Get up. Dying. Get. Darkness is coming. It's surrounding you. It's overwhelming you. Get it.
Come on. I actually really like this combat. Come on. Oh no. Ugh. How many of these are there gonna be? Is this one of those endless battles?
Did it? She finished him. Stop it. There's another one. There's more. Be ready. He can defend himself.
Wait.
Behind you.
But they're shadows. How am I supposed to face these? And they can't even be touched.
Surprise him. Defend yourself.
I think it was one of those intentional loss situations. Is that Senua?
A vision of what's to come. Poor Senua. The darkness does not bargain. It does not reason. It is rot. And now it has taken hold. It will spread towards her head, the seat of the soul, until there is nothing left of her.
Reason is painful. Stop.
All of her suffering will have been for nothing. It's just a matter of time.
Dark rot will grow each time you fail. If the rot reaches Senua's head, her quest is over. And all progress will be lost.
The hardest battles are fought in the mind. That is what Dillian taught her. With every defeat, the dark rot will grow and soon it will take her soul. But for now, at least, she still has control of her mind. And she will fulfill her vow, whatever the